Hello everyone, welcome back if you're new to my channel. My name is Bella and I'm a seamstress and I want to teach you how to sew. So today my goal is to give you some sewing inspo. If you're anything like me, then you look at pictures of Bella Hadid and all of her wonderful street style and you think, how can I recreate that? Where do I have to shop to get those looks? I don't have thousands of dollars lying around. Me too. I'm gonna go over some of my favorite looks that I've been seeing of Bella Hadid's recently, and I just want to talk about some of the elements that I see kind of being repeated in her style and how you as a sewist can incorporate some of those details into your sewing projects, because I feel like the thing about Bella Hadid's style is that she always has something in her outfit that's just like a little off. There's always a little twist to it, and that's where sewing comes in, because you can really customize things as much as you want and create these details that you don't necessarily see too often. If you're looking for a specific type of detail, it takes a lot of hunting. So sewing is so amazing for being able to customize your outfit to be whatever you want it to be. Your options are really endless. So I hope this video gives you a little bit of inspiration for just some details that you can add to your next sewing project. Starting off with this first look, we have this really slim fitted black tank top that looks like it's a little bit ribbed maybe, and then it has an asymmetric neck detail that goes off to one side and then has this collar going across here. One detail that I see over and over again with her style is asymmetry. So something that's a little bit off to one side or not even on both sides. So I really love that this neckline is almost centered, like following up at the top of the bust. It's kind of centered and then it starts curving over on that one side, and then you have the collar detail, which is another really fun little statement. This is so understated and simple, and if you wanted to make something like this, it would be so easy. It wouldn't really require that much like intricacy, and yet when you put it on, it's just like that elevated basic that I always talk about. I love this. I think it would be such an easy thing to recreate. I always like to talk about thrift flips when I do these sewing inspo videos, because if you're a beginner or maybe you're not super into pattern drafting or maybe short on time and you don't want to spend hours working on something start to finish, thrift flips are an amazing option. Or obviously always the most sustainable thing is to go into your closet and see what you have that you maybe don't wear anymore and think about how you can elevate that. So a turtleneck like the one that I'm wearing right now, honestly, something like this would be really perfect. Something that you already know fits you really well. Then you can kind of cut it to do exactly what you want it to do, and then all you need to worry about is just the finishes. So that's a really quick, easy project that you could do. Another element of asymmetry is this top that she's wearing under this jacket. I love this whole outfit. This is very much my style, but I just want to touch on this quickly. The hemline of this top is just off the center. So there's just something a little bit off about it. So maybe the next time you're making something like this, can't see exactly the details of this top, but it looks like it's out of maybe a knit material. It has a little bit of a cowl effect here, so really nice like draping detail. But maybe the next time you're working on a kind of form-fitted top like this and you want to go for a straight across hem, maybe just make it a little bit asymmetric and kind of swoop it down a little bit for a nice detail. It's all in the details with these kinds of things, just those things that can make the piece a little bit more interesting and look a lot more like, not high concept, I don't want to say high concept because this is just literally like an offside hem, but like higher concept than something that you might just get from like H&M. So I really like that idea. Just again, something really simple that you can add on as like an afterthought for your next project. Okay, drawstrings or like corsetry sort of accents are something that I see a lot on Bella Hadid's outfits. This outfit has a lot of lace-up accents and I love that repetition of the same detail. Again, an amazing thing about sewing is that you can make things look so much higher quality. Like this outfit, for example, a matching set always looks to me so elevated and so like expensive. Taking it even one step further, not only do you have the same fabric on the top and bottom, but also repeating the finishes and accents is a really great option, again, to make it look a little bit more like higher concept. I'm gonna keep using that term for lack of a better term. With lace up specifically, it's actually pretty easy. I don't use grommets too often, but they're actually not that difficult to get the hang of. There's a little tool that you can buy to like kind of hammer them in, and they just kind of form around the fabric. So really simple, not as complicated as it looks. But yeah, just the concept of repeating finishes, I absolutely love it. I think if you wore something like this out and told people that you made it, they would be shocked. And that's always a fun moment to have. Here we have another lace up look. It's this black sort of corseted top. I'm not sure if this is two separate pieces, if it's just kind of an underbust piece that's sitting on top of a top, but regardless, again, using that like lace up feature is just another interesting element. And even if this is all one top, I really like that everything in this outfit is the same color. It's all black, but you have a real mix of textiles within the outfit. So if you wanted to go for something like this and create that like lace up underbust look, even if you wanted it to all be one top, I think something fun to do would be do the underbust in a different fabric of the same color. And again, it just gives you that little bit of interest that's a little bit more elevated, even though this is quite a basic piece. This coat I really like. I love the leopard accent, and I love just how kind of exaggerated the lines of this are. That's another thing that I feel like a lot of Bella Hadid's outfits have. They're just very overstated when it comes to the lines and proportions. A fairly long length. It's got wide sleeves, a big hood with an accent fur print, a big tie up at the top, big pocket flaps, just everything big. And then she went one step further and paired it with big jeans. Everything big. I love it. I think this is really playing up on some like vintage sort of aspects. This looks exactly like a coat that I would have pulled out of my grandma's closet. I love the fur accent on the hood especially. This could be a good thrift look actually. Get like a vintage coat like this, like an anorak or a trench coat, anything with like a big collar or a hood, and then line it with fur or some sort of accent print. I think would be a really fun, again, really easy, quick project. Just elevating things just a little bit more. Again, talking about proportions, I love this look. It's all very neutral, very classy, very just understated. And yet the lines of this top, I don't know if this is a dress that she's wearing as a top or if it's just a top, but you can see it's kind of so long that it's all scrunched up in the middle, and I actually kind of like that. I don't know if it's on purpose, but I like it. The cuffs on this are really long. I don't know, I just think it's a different proportion than we might usually see, or you might usually think to like use in an outfit that simple. Again, with proportions, this gray look I love. Look at the amount of pleats in these pants. That's like a 2-3 pleat pant. 2-3 pleat pant. The blazer is a little bit more understated because it's quite fitted to her. I really like the slight flare out on the sleeves. I think that's a nice detail. But then she has this small bandeau top underneath, and then the lines of the pants are just like just about as exaggerated as they could be. So I think that's another amazing thing to play with when you're sewing, is just figuring out what proportions you like on your body and how you can kind of exaggerate those to the fullest extent, because when you're sewing, you really have the opportunity to make the fit perfect down to the last millimeter. If you get good at fitting just your own body, you don't even have to be like a master at pattern drafting or anything like that. Like just getting used to your own body proportions. Trust me, the feeling, like you're never gonna feel better in any other clothing. Like it's so worth it to practice fitting on yourself. Can't recommend it enough. Let's talk about top stitching for a second. 2 denim looks. I don't absolutely love the length of the pants in this look, but I just wanted to talk about specifically using top stitching to create lines on your body that sort of trick the eye in the way that you want it to be tricked, if that makes sense. So you can see the top stitching lines on the pants curving out from her hips and in. That's gonna accentuate your hips a lot and then kind of draw the eye inwards to create that like slimming effect on your legs. And again, with the top here, we have the same sort of line curving in from the top corner bust here and in. So again, it's drawing your eye out here and drawing it in here, and then she has the curved top stitching under the bust as well. So all this top stitching going on right now is kind of doing this. It's creating that hourglass sort of figure. So I love using a top stitching accent, not even just in something really fitted like this. Like if you want to use it to your advantage to kind of hide areas you want to hide, accentuate areas you want to accentuate, it's a great tool for that. But I honestly like it just as a little visual interest. Again, just making things a little bit more elevated, even if it's on something that's a little bit more oversized. I also love this denim look. Again, speaking of something oversized, this is a really common finish to use on denim. If you notice on like a classic pair of blue jeans, they have top stitching in a contrasting stitch color usually. I love this whole look. This sort of like bustier corset thing looks like it's maybe made, upcycled from a pair of jeans. That would be a really, really fun project. It looks like the waist of the jeans is creating the bottom of this, and I really love that. Again, looking at the lines of the bottom of this, it's not quite curved, but since it tapers in towards the center, again, it's accentuating the hips and drawing the eye inward as you go down the legs, which is, if you kind of want to accentuate your hips and lengthen your body, that's a really nice hemline to use. Lots of top stitching, lots of structure going on in the bodice. I love everything about it. This gray look, again, matching set. I absolutely love this. This is a really simple look upon first glance, and then you look closer and realize, especially if you do have a little bit of sewing knowledge, you look at this and think, oh my gosh, there's actually a lot going on here. I love the amount of pleats in the skirt. I really enjoy a skirt like that, especially in something a little bit thicker, stiffer, like I'm guessing this is some sort of wool. I really enjoy that silhouette with a fabric like that, just because I think it gives it a little bit more of, not like, I don't want to say a feminine vibe, but like it gives the garment a little bit more movement while still being quite structured and linear because of the straight lines of the pleat, and yet they add so much fullness to the garment. I also really love the proportions of the sleeves in this look. They almost have a little bit of a batwing sleeve going on, and I really like that because, again, I think it's a nice contrast with how like stiff this fabric looks. Just again adds a little bit more of like a flow and a movement to the fabric. And I also really like the detail that goes along the top of the jacket. I'm guessing it has closures going all the way up the center and then a closure that goes across, which is something that I see a lot in vintage jackets. So I love that this has a few of those little like nods to kind of historic garments. Okay, let's talk about this look. I love these pants. This isn't like a sewing element really, but she has her pants, and I don't know if this is the way that the pants just are or if she just did this. Especially if you have jeans that have just a button closure, just leaving it a little bit undone and then turning it over to create these like triangle details, I think is just a little twist to just a regular jeans outfit. And then they have these leather patches going down the front. Now, I've talked about patchwork before. I don't know if it was here on my TikTok, but patchwork in pants, how it seems like that would be an easy thrift flip to do, but it's really not, because you have to get in the legs. So if you're gonna go for a patchwork pant, I would recommend starting the patchwork at the beginning stages. But with something like this, if you're just attaching one singular patch, honestly, you could like fabric glue these on if you wanted to make it more of like a thrift flip. They almost look like they have studs attaching them. I don't know, maybe you could use like snaps or something to attach them. If it's just one patch, honestly, that's not the biggest headache in the world. And I actually kind of like the look of this with like a stud or some sort of detail like that. Again, just makes it a little bit more interesting, another detail to look at, and just a twist. Just when you think, oh, I should sew these on, maybe no, maybe go for like a snap or a button or a hook and eye or chain attachment or something like that, you know, just something. Okay, and then the top that she's wearing with this, I really like this twisted detail. I think that is really fun. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on something like this because that's quite a cool detail, and I feel like it actually wouldn't be that difficult to do, but it translates to look very high skill level. And then I'm not sure if the sleeve piece is attached to the top or if it's just a shrug, but if you want to make a detached sleeve piece, this is one of my favorite things to do, just like a little shrug sort of thing. Just take a sleeve pattern that you have that you know fits you pretty tight, and then literally just at the top of the arm here, like start tapering it in, and then you just sew the two pieces together in the back. It's so easy. And if you're kind of going for that more like deconstructed look, but you still want it to be like quite basic, that's a great option. You can make a bunch of like tank tops and sleeve pieces and then like mix match them. I think that's a really fun thing to do. And again, a really easy beginner project. I want to talk about this vest. This, I really like the proportions of. Again, it's just exaggerated. I like that this could have been just a simple puffer vest where the shoulders are kind of out here and then they taper in under the arms like this. But this vest almost has a little bit of a cap sleeve going on. Doesn't look like it's two pieces attached though. It looks like it just took the bodice portion and just extended it out. So just making it, again, a little bit more exaggerated. It's just something interesting to look at. Like, I always think this when I get into a rut with my clothing. I'm like, if you sew, like, would it kill you to just do something different? Seriously, and it can be as simple as that. Like, just bringing the line out just a few more centimeters. It's not a lot. It doesn't have to be anything huge and exaggerated. It's just these little details that we just don't see in clothing a lot. Let's just switch it up a little bit, you know? Okay, I know that that probably wasn't going over like some of the most iconic Bella Hadid looks, but that's just kind of some that I saved the other day that I hadn't really seen before, so I wanted to talk about. So to review, what are our takeaways from this video? I think asymmetry is a really great element you can easily add into your sewing projects that'll just give it something different. Something different. If you take away anything from this video, just like do something different. And of course, I'm speaking to myself when I say that because I fall into my sewing habits. I'll start really liking one finish and then that's how I'm doing everything. Like right now, I am really loving things with boning, so all I want to do is make like corsets and underbusts and all these things, and like I need to remind myself, don't keep doing this because you're gonna get sick of it. So just switch it up, cut your hemline wonky, just do it. If you're doing something and you think, is this like too weird, you're probably going in the right direction. So just stick with what you think is kind of weird, because that's probably something that you wouldn't be able to find in a store, so it's gonna be worth it to make it perfectly custom to you. So asymmetry, I love repeating details on the top and bottom. I love her lace up details. I think she's really into different hardware and finishes. Just go to the fabric store and go down the notions aisle and just browse. Anything that you think is like kind of weird, like ribbons, strings, chains, jewels, sequins, I don't know, just buy a few meters of it and see what happens when you get home. Top stitching, great detail, love it just as a visual interest, love it to accentuate different areas of your body if you want to. It's perfect, like customizable thing. Takes a little bit of time, but it is so satisfying to do. Again, playing with proportions, you can totally use this to your advantage to accentuate different parts of your body. That's such a plus when it comes to sewing. And yeah, I think the moral of this sewing inspo video is to just get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Do whatever you think is weird and wacky and a little bit different than anything that you've seen, and I think you're on the right track. So go and sew some things that would get you that Bella Hadid stamp of approval. You can subscribe if you want to see more sewing inspo videos just like this one. And if you have any other celebrities that you think have amazing style and you want to hear me talk about some of the elements that they use a little bit more in depth, then comment them down below and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you back here next time.